Welcome to Film Reveal Decoder, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps of hidden details and everything you might have missed. Our story begins deep in a dense Colombian forest where two hunters stand with their rifles waiting for prey. The forest is divided into two areas, one considered safe while the other is strictly off-limit due to the presence of deadly venomous snakes. Despite the warnings, the hunters venture into the dangerous zone driven by greed. These two young men were once thieves who preyed on unsuspecting tourists, but recently they turned to hunting snakes instead. The reason? Snake skins fetch a high price, making this venture far more profitable than robbery. One of the hunters hesitates, arguing that stealing is safer than facing the monstrous snake that lurk in the shadow. However, his companion insists that taking risks is the only way to make real money. As they debate, a rustling sound catches their attention. Convinced a snake is nearby, they split up to search. Suddenly, one of them stumbles and falls, only to come face to face with a decomposed corpse. Meanwhile, in the city, we meet Josh and Sophia, a married couple arriving for a medical conference. Both are doctors and they have left their children at home for this short trip. However, beneath the surface, tension simmer between them. It's soon revealed that they are on the brink of divorce, planning to finalize their separation upon returning home. The reasons remain undisclosed, but their strained silence speaks volumes. During the drive, Josh attempts to break the awkward tension by asking Sophia how it feels to be back in her birth city. She, however, responds coldly, avoiding any meaningful conversation. A meticulous planner, Josh carries a city guidebook and eagerly points out that the city is surrounded by beautiful forests. He expresses his excitement about exploring them, but Sophia dismisses the idea, reminding him that their conference schedule will leave no time for sightseeing. Adding to her stress, this is the first time they have left their children behind, making her anxious. Upon reaching their hotel, they are warmly greeted by Marcus, their old friend and fellow doctor attending the conference. Unaware of their marital struggles, Marcus treats them as usual and invites them to dinner that evening. However, an unexpected complication arises. Marcus has unknowingly booked them a single room. Sophia, visibly frustrated, requests a separate room, but the receptionist informs her that the hotel is fully booked due to the conference. Left with no choice, they agree to stay in the same room but sleep in separate areas. Annoyed by the situation, Sophia declares that she will spend the day out, returning only to sleep. She also plans to leave dinner early, giving Josh the opportunity to break the news of their separation to Marcus. That evening at dinner, Josh and Marcus reminisce about old times, sharing laughter and nostalgia. During their conversation, Marcus mentions that Colombia's tallest waterfall is nearby and suggests a short trip through the forest the following day. While Josh is immediately interested, Sophia hesitates. She has no desire to spend more time with her estranged husband, but the idea of revisiting familiar places from her past intrigues her. Eventually, she agrees, unaware that this decision will lead them into a far more dangerous journey than expected. Later that evening, Sophia excuses herself, claiming she wants to sleep. However, Marcus notices a shift in her behavior and grows suspicious. Concerned, he asks Josh if something is wrong. After a moment of hesitation, Josh finally reveals that he and Sophia have decided to separate. Marcus is stunned. He always saw them as one of the strongest couples he knew. Struggling to understand, he asks Josh for the reason behind their decision. Josh explains that over time they have changed, their personalities have drifted apart, and they are no longer compatible. The next morning, Sophia wakes up early and immerses herself in work. Later, she gets ready for the waterfall trip and is surprised to find Josh still lounging around, not dressed. Josh then informs her that Marcus had to cancel due to other commitments. He suggests that she go alone and make the most of her time in the city. Concerned for her safety, however, Josh ultimately decides to accompany her despite Sophia's objection. At the hotel reception, he asks the staff for the best route to the waterfall. The staff points them toward a safe but long path. Josh, however, notices a much shorter route. When he asks about it, the staff warns that it is extremely dangerous due to the presence of venomous snakes. Sophia is taken aback. She had no idea there were snakes in the area. The staff explains that the issue is recent, caused by climate changes that have driven the snakes closer to human settlement. Despite the warnings, Josh insists on taking the shorter route, claiming he has experience with wilderness survival. Sophia strongly objects, and the staff also advises against it, urging them to stick to the safer path. As they leave, the hotel staff discreetly signals a man sitting nearby. Unbeknownst to the couple, this man is a known thief, a former tourist robber who now hunts snakes for their valuable skin. It becomes clear that the staff is working with him, tipping him off whenever tourists head into the forest so he can ambush them. Josh and Sophia drive toward the forest and park their car at the trailhead before beginning their hike. As they ascend to a higher altitude, Josh becomes winded and frequently stops to rest while Sophia moves ahead without waiting for him. When he finally catches up, he thanks her for waiting, only for Sophia to coldly respond that she stopped because of muscle cramps, not for him. As they continue, Josh Josh notices a sudden shift in the weather. Dark clouds gather and the air grows heavy with the promise of rain. Sensing an approaching storm, he suggests they turn back. However, when they return to their car, they are met with a chilling sight. The thief is attempting to break into it. Sophia panicked, whispering that they should let him take the car and avoid conflict. But Josh refuses, knowing that without the car, they will have no way to return safely. Determined to protect them, Josh tells Sophia to hide, hands her his bag, and step forward to confront the thief. Armed with a gun, the thief demands money. Josh insists they have none, but the thief, suspecting Sophia might be carrying it, demands to know where she is and threatens Josh at gunpoint. Watching from her hiding spot, Sophia's concern for Josh grows. Unable to stay silent, she steps forward and hands the thief the bag, hoping to defuse the situation. As the thief rummages through it, distracted Josh seizes the opportunity. Grabbing a nearby tree branch, he strikes the thief hard on the head. Without waiting to see if the blow was enough, Josh and Sophia make a run for it. But the thief, still conscious, quickly recovers and fires his gun, narrowly missing them. As the rain begins to pour, the couple stumbles deeper into the forest, desperately searching for an escape. Their path leads them to a warning sign, the very same one the hotel staff had mentioned, marking the danger zone of the forest. Behind them, the thief is still chasing them, gun in hand. With no time to think, they make a split-second decision. They enter the restricted area, hoping that fear of the deadly snake will deter their pursuer. As they push forward, adrenaline surging, Sophia turns on Josh in frustration. She furiously blames him for their predicament, arguing that if he had just listened and let the thief take the car, they wouldn't be in this situation. Their fight escalates until, in a burst of anger, Sophia storms ahead into the depths of the dangerous forest, leaving Josh behind. Josh, realizing the grave danger they are now in, desperately calls after her, but the storm drowns out his voice. Determined to delay the thief as long as possible, Josh does his best to slow him down before rushing after Sophia. Meanwhile, Sophia pushes deeper into the forest, moving as fast as she can. But in her panic, she stumbles, loses her balance, and falls unconscious. When she finally wakes up, she finds herself alone. Josh is nowhere in sight. Disoriented and frightened, she begins searching for him, only to step into a hidden mud pit that acts like quicksand. The ground pulls her downward, gripping her legs tightly as she struggles to escape. She fights to stay above the surface, but the more she moves, the deeper she sinks. Just when panic threatens to consume her, Josh arrives. He quickly calms her down, assuring her that he'll get her out. He hands her a tree branch, instructing her to hold on tightly so he can pull her free. But just as she grips the branch, it snaps in half, sending her deeper into the pit. Desperate, she tries once more to pull herself up, but the mud tightens around her like a trap. Without hesitation, Josh jumps in after her, wrapping his arms around her to keep her head above the surface. He fights to push her up, but in doing so, he gets stuck as well. Now both of them are trapped with no clear way out. Despite the danger, Sophia is deeply moved by Josh's selfless act. She begins to realize that despite everything, he still cares for her. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Marcus grows suspicious when Josh and Sophia don't return. He heads to their cabin to check on them, but finds no sign of them. Worried, he listens to a voice message from Josh which mentions their trip to the waterfall. As the rain clears, Josh and Sophia brainstorm ways to escape the pit. Josh explains that as long as they stay still, they won't sink further because the mud's weight is greater than theirs. However, they both know that staying still isn't a solution. They need help. That's when they spot something unusual nearby, a large egg partially buried in the mud. Realization dawns on them. They are in an area inhabited by something dangerous, and whatever laid that egg will come looking for it. Before they can process their next move, Sophia suddenly feels something beneath her. With Josh's help, she pulls it out, only to stare in horror at what she has found. It's a human corpse. Their medical instinct kick in, and from the facial structure, they deduce that the person likely died of starvation. Then it hit them. This was one of the two thieves from earlier. Seeing his lifeless body terrifies Sophia. Could they suffer the same fate? Josh, however, remains practical. He notices a bag near the body and searches through it, finding a flashlight, a knife, and other survival tools. Nearby, he also spots a rifle with 2 bullets. Thinking fast, Josh suggests cutting the bag into strips to create a makeshift rope. He eyes a large rock in the distance, planning to tie one end of the rope to it and use the other to pull themselves out. Meanwhile, Marcus is still at the hotel when he suddenly notices the young thief, the same man working with the hotel staff. Marcus immediately recognizes Josh's bag in the thief's possession, now stained with blood. Alarmed, he confronts the thief, demanding to know where Josh and Sophia are. The thief refuses to talk, but before the situation escalates further, hotel security intervenes and calls the police. Back in the mud pit, Josh and Sophia manage to fashion a long rope from the bag, but when they test it, they realize it's too short. Josh suggests cutting up his jacket to extend it, but Sophia worries about the cold and hesitates. As they continue thinking of solutions, they suddenly suddenly hear the sound of a plane overhead, likely a tourist light showcasing the area. Excited, they attempt to signal for help, but the thick forest canopy blocks their visibility. Desperate, Sophia suggests setting the rope on fire using the lighter they found in the bag, but Josh stopped her, warning that if their attempt fails, they will have no other way out. Frustration boils over, leading to yet another argument between them. But before they can resolve it, the plane moves away, leaving them stranded once more. As time passes, Sophia begins to lose hope. She sighs and asks Josh if they have anything to drink, but he tells her that all their supplies were left in the stolen bag. Just as despair set in, Sophia suddenly yelped in pain. She looks down and realizes something is biting her. Horrified, she sees a swarm of ants rapidly crawling up her body. Unable to move, she is completely at their mercy. Joshua hands Sophia some alcohol from a bottle they found, instructing her to pour it on the ant. When Sophia tries to drink from the bottle, Joshua stops her, reminding her they need to conserve it. Noticing that Sophia is losing strength, he does his best to keep her spirits up. As they talk, they remember the rifle they have and realize they could have used it to signal the plane, both frustrated at missing such an obvious solution. Suddenly, Sophia spots a large snake slithering up behind Joshua. Although she holds the rifle, she's too scared to use it. She's never fired one before. Unable to turn around, Joshua orders her to shoot quickly. As she aims, the snake bites Joshua on the arm. Sophia manages to fire, injuring the snake, which then escapes into the underbrush. Meanwhile, at the police station, Marcus is with the thief in custody. The thief offers to reveal the couple's location in exchange for money, but Marcus, having no cash on hand, offers his watch instead. The thief informs him that they are in the dangerous part of the forest, warning about quicksand and venomous snakes. Growing increasingly worried about his friends, Marcus pleads with the security guard to let him rescue them, but his pleas fall on deaf ears. Back in the pit, Joshua's condition worsens as a blood clot forms around his neck. Determined to save him, Sophia, who had left her medical career after becoming a mother, decides to rely on her medical knowledge. She heats a knife with the lighter and prepares to cauterize the wound. Despite her fear and lack of recent practice, she successfully removes the clot and cauterizes the wound. Overwhelmed by pain, Joshua loses consciousness and Sophia faints from exhaustion. They later wake up with Joshua thanking her for saving his life. Sophia admits that she was once excited about the lecture she was scheduled to give at the conference, a talk that would have restored her confidence as a doctor. She confesses that she doesn't regret leaving the profession despite her skills, as she needed to rebuild her confidence before returning. Reassuring her, Joshua tells her that prioritizing their children was the right decision, praising her as both a great mother and an excellent doctor. With hope still in her heart, Sophia believes they will escape and reunite with their children. After much thought, Sophia decides to kill the snake and use its body to extend their rope so they can reach a nearby rock. Noticing that the snake is still lurking nearby, she begins throwing objects to provoke it and capture its attention. With the rifle ready to fire, as soon as it comes close, she is caught off guard when the snake slithers up behind her. She tries to shoot, but the bullet misses, leaving the rifle empty. The snake quickly wraps its body around her, beginning to strangle her. At that critical moment, an exhausted Josh, who had been unconscious, wakes up just in time. He grabs a knife and kills the snake, saving Sophia's life. Sophia then ties a rope around the snake body and after several attempts manages to secure it to a nearby rock. She grabs the rope and finally climbs out of the pit. However, the rope breaks, and as she tries to wake Josh so she can grab his hand and climb out together, she finds that he has lost control of his body. He urges her to go find help. Determined, Sophia starts running through the forest, hoping to find someone who can rescue them both. Exhausted and barely able to keep going, Sophia pushes forward through the dark forest. She drifts in and out of consciousness, her body weakened by the ordeal. Just when she feels she can't go any further, she stumbles onto a road and spots an approaching ambulance with Marcus inside. Two paramedics rush to her aid, helping her into the ambulance while Marcus and the rescue team head into the forest to search for Joshua. Moments later, Sophia's heart fills with relief and joy as she sees them bringing Joshua out alive. Despite all the dangers they face, they have finally escaped the forest. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. See you in the next video. Goodbye.